Hi guys, it's Camstra again, coming to you from my house again. Still missing you. Hopefully everyone's having an okay Corona quarantine, or as my son says, Coronatine. This week I decided to, after 2 weeks of really wonderful stuff on tone quality, to go in a different direction, because a lot of people have asked me, Camstra, how, can we learn this song? Or Camstra, how do I start composing something? So I thought we'd go in a little bit more of a creativity direction this week. And you are going to have a couple of choices on what you are going to do for your assignment. Really, my goal, guys, at this point is to keep you playing your instrument in whatever way, shape, or form we can, because there really is no substitute for playing. So I'm hoping that this week we'll have a little bit of fun and you'll still get to play your instrument. So the first option this week is to find a song or think of a song that you want to learn how to play, and you're going to learn how to play it by ear, meaning not with music in front of you. This can be anything from like a pop song that you like, any song that you can think of, a song from a movie, or it can be as simple as like a little folk song, but it has to be a song that is not in the book. So like I don't want you to actually read it. I want you to try to play it by ear. And it can't be a song that we already learned by ear, like No Baby Shark. No Baby Shark. So I'm going to do a couple of examples for you. And again, I just want you to keep this kind of short and kind of easy. So the one thing that you can do is just like think of a simple folk song, like things that are in the book, similar to Mary Had a Little Lamb, but obviously not Mary Had a Little Lamb. So, or one that I thought of was Row, Row, Row Your Boat. So if you're a sixth grader, maybe you just want to try to play by ear the first phrase or the beginning of Row, Row, Row Your Boat. And again, that's just something that I learned by playing around with some notes, doing a little guess and check, and really relying on my ear. If you're in 7th and 8th grade, maybe you want to take that a little bit farther because it goes up a little higher.
No! Please, no!
Oh, see, I made a mistake. Hold on. Take 2. And you might make some mistakes, and that's okay, but the whole goal is to just play around and see what you can figure out by ear. Don't even worry about looking at music. You also can, if you want to do something a little bit more like pop-like, you absolutely can do that. Like my favorite song of all time, which some of you might know, is Let It Be by the Beatles. So I spent about 10 minutes earlier today playing around, and I was able to figure out the first phrase of Let It Be by the Beatles. I know, that's going in the bloopers. Hold on, I gotta get rid of my spit. And you can tell I even made a couple mistakes. I would be practicing that more to make sure that I really had it in my ear and under my fingers before I would record and submit it, which is going to be kind of the final step of this process. So that would be option 1. So option 2 would be, instead of listening to a piece of music and trying to copy it on your instrument, is that you would compose your own piece of music. And again, we're going to start super simple. I am not a composer by trade, but every composer I've ever talked to, when I've said, hey, how do you start composing? They just do it. They just start playing around with things that they like and that sound good, and they start really, really simple. So again, I would recommend you pick something very simple, like sixth graders that you're playing maybe the first 5 or 6 notes that we've learned. Seventh graders, maybe you're doing something in the B flat scale. Eighth graders, maybe you're doing in something in either or the B flat scale or the E flat scale. But you're keeping it to just a few simple notes or one scale and a few simple rhythms. So you pick a scale or a few notes. You pick a time signature. 4/4 would be the easiest. If you want to do something else, that's fine, but keep it simple in 4/4. And you pick a few rhythms that you know really well, and you just start playing around with things you might like. So if I was a 6th grader, I might have composed something like this. Again, I did this a little earlier today. That was just using quarter notes and whole notes and half notes. So a 7th or 8th grader can make it a little bit more complex, but again, I would keep it really simple. This is something that I composed earlier today that has a few more different types of notes, but again, stays really pretty simple. And it can be a little longer if you want, but 15 to 30 seconds is what we are looking for, maybe 4 to 8 measures of music. So my goal for this is that you are able to just be creative and have fun and play your instrument at the same time. If you are a percussionist and you do not have a piano or a mallet instrument at your house, you have to do the second option because you can't really learn a tune by ear on the snare drum. So now we're going to have just a quick example of what a composition on the snare drum might sound like. After you finish your recording, after you have played through either your composition or your song that you've learned by ear and you're really confident and you have a really excellent recording, again, the way I'm going to ask you to submit it to me this week is going to be through Schoology. So you're going to submit it either in a video or an audio. It doesn't matter to me of you playing your performance through Schoology. I also want to make sure that when you submit into Schoology, you tell me the name of the song that you are playing by ear, or you give your composition a title. It can be any title you want because you're the composer. So make sure that you submit through Schoology on audio or video. Thanks so much. I absolutely can't wait to see and hear all of these things that you do, and I'll see you next time. Can you pause it for a second? Hold on. Cut. I gotta get rid of my spit. Oh. I